Good. Hello, teachers. We're so happy to have you here with us today in our session of Revolutionizing Keyboarding Education. And before we go any further, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Kelly Seal. I am a teacher at Spanish Fork High School in Utah. And we also have here with us Shauna Whittekind.
Hi, I'm Shauna, and I'm happy to be here with you all today. I as well teach at Spanish Fork High School in Utah, and we're excited to be talking to a group of teachers that probably have the same ideas and backgrounds as we do.
Yeah. And you'll see down at the bottom of this first slide, if you will copy and paste, I don't know if you can copy and paste, if you'll take that web address, that will give you access to this same slideshow.
And we'll make sure we get that posted in the chat somehow as well, so that you've got access to it there.
Okay. There we go. So we would really like to spend this time talking about keyboarding education in general. And we do have one specific topic within keyboarding education that we want to address today. And that is the #1 problem that students have that are preventing them from truly mastering the keyboard and achieving that high level of words per minute. And if you have taught keyboarding before, you probably have a good idea of what that #1 problem is that students have. From our experience, that issue is that the students aren't memorizing the keys, and they're not memorizing the keys because they're finding a way to look at their fingers. And as teachers, we try to find really creative ways to prevent students from doing that. And we'll talk about some of those creative ways in just a minute here. But our goal with KeyMaster Electronics is to solve that problem for teachers and to provide a better method of preventing students from looking at their fingers. But before we go any further, let's just talk through a few current methods that we are seeing used in the classroom to hide the keys. So up at the top, we have an all blank keyboard. All blank keyboards are talked about a lot, but I really don't see them used in the classroom very much. They tend to be more kind of gaming keyboards. They actually tend to be fairly pricey. And if you do have an all blank keyboard, that might be great for keyboarding instruction, but for other activities in a classroom, other class periods and so forth, an all blank keyboard may not be ideal. And so teachers that do use this end up essentially needing 2 different keyboards to switch out based on the activity. Those orange key covers, we actually have used those in our school before, and I think we still have them hiding in a drawer somewhere.
I think so. I think I've got a drawer over here that has some in it still.
Yeah, and we've let our kids use those, and the consensus was that they didn't like them. They didn't like the feel of those keys. We had a hard time getting them to stick over the keys and stay put. And so we didn't end up using those very long because the kids didn't like them. Another option would be to have some type of box over the student's keyboard. That's definitely an option. Those boxes do tend to be pretty bulky, and what do you do with them when you're not doing your keyboarding instruction? And of course, those tricky students can still find ways to peek under the keys or position their keyboard just so that they can still look at their fingers. Another method that I've seen is teachers will take the time to use nail polish or marker or whatever it is, and they individually paint over each key on the keyboard. Obviously, that would be a really time-consuming method. As a teacher, that sounds a little bit like a nightmare to me. I chatted with a teacher that used this in her classroom, and she kind of told me some of the pain points that she experienced by using nail polish. She said that every single year she had to go back and she'd have to paint over and touch up the keys that had been chipped or faded away or anything like that. And then she said that the keys started to get lumpy because of that, and the students didn't like that the keys were lumpy. And it was kind of comical, all the issues that she was telling me about her method. She said also when the students come in, they don't know the keyboard yet. And so when they need to log into the computer and they can't see the keys, they can't log in. And so they would have to unplug the the painted keyboard and plug in a traditional keyboard to get the kids logged in and where they needed to be. And then they had to unplug that keyboard and so on and so forth. And so you can see that that's really not an ideal scenario for you in your classroom. So what we're getting at is all of these methods that are currently out there, we're making do with, but they're really not a perfect solution. And they're all lacking in some form in design and efficiency. So we know that there's a lot of different ideas out there, and teachers really use a variety of, or try a variety of different things to keep their students from looking at their fingers. So we thought we'd give you a chance to share on the chat what you do, what you've used, or any funny methods that you've heard of before. I'll share with you what we've used at our school. We would take a piece of paper and we would tape that paper to the top of the student's keyboard. And so anytime we were working on touch type instruction, we would have them fold that piece of paper down so that it rested over the top of their hands, and the students would type that way. And it worked. It worked okay, but the students definitely didn't like it. They didn't like the feel of that paper on their hands. And it was really easy for them to cheat as well. So hopefully you guys have a few things posted on the chat. We thought we would share a couple of funny ideas that we came across for preventing students from looking at their fingers. So this first one is pretty awesome. I think whoever created this first one, I hope did it with the intent of it being something funny and not really something practical. So this keyboard will shock you into typing properly. So if it recognizes that you're not using proper fingering, then you will get a shock. Also, you'll see up in the top left corner, there's those lights that'll flash. So if it thinks that you're looking down at your fingers, then it will flash lights at you to blind you so that you don't want to look at your fingers. So pretty funny idea, but obviously not practical for use in the classroom. I don't think we're allowed to shock our students. On the left-hand side, I just pasted in a chat in Facebook of some teachers sharing this really common question of what do you use to cover your keyboard for your students? And so this first teacher listed that she uses Velcro, and she cuts a sheet to fit over the keys. So that's the method she uses. I actually can't quite conceptualize what that method is, but that's what she uses. And then the second one we were a little bit concerned with. The second teacher uses men's boxer shorts in size small, and they're reusable and easy to sanitize and wash. And as a parent, I don't want my kids using boxer shorts when they're memorizing the keyboard. There's got to be a better method than that, right?
There's got to be, yes.
And so that's what we wanted to share with you today is what we have come up with to solve that solution, to solve that problem. So the KeyMaster solution, we have created a keyboard. It's called the Learning Lights keyboard. And essentially this keyboard uses backlighting so that if the lights are off, it appears as an all blank keyboard, and you can work on your keyboarding instruction with an all blank keyboard. When you want to use the keyboard for another purpose, you turn that backlighting on, and then you can see the key lettering, and you have your traditional keyboard that you would use for your other classes or for whatever else you're doing that day. So a few features that I'll run through on this keyboard. You can turn on or off key visibility at the touch of a button. The keyboard, that show hide feature serves the dual purpose of standard computer use, or you can also use it for key by touch practice. So you're never having to unplug and plug back in two different keyboards. You just have the same one keyboard that you can use for everything. The keyboard is compatible with all keyboarding software programs, so no matter what software you use, this keyboard is compatible with that. The keyboard also has customizable settings, which is really awesome. So that as you're working on your keyboarding instruction, if there's certain keys that you're learning that day, maybe you're learning the home row that day, you can instruct the students to turn on or off specific keys so that you can really customize that learning as you're working through memorizing the entire keyboard. And then the final feature on here is we've really done our best to optimize this keyboard for instruction in a classroom, in a keyboarding classroom. So we've tried to include all of the things that will make this an ideal keyboard to use. So one thing we've done is we've made sure to have curved keys so that as the students are first learning their touch typing, they those all flat keys that are so common now makes it really hard for students to know if their fingers are in the right place or not. So that little bit of curvature really helps the students to feel and know that their fingers are in the right place. And it's an important thing to have when they're first learning how to type. The keys also have a deeper strike, which also helps the students to feel confident as they're striking each key and know that they're pressing the right key. We've also gotten rid of a few keys on the keyboard, and if you taught keyboarding before, hopefully you can recognize how useful this would be to get rid of a few keys. The insert key, the numlock key, and the scroll lock key we have removed. We've removed those keys because they are common pitfalls for students. I would say probably on a daily basis, I have a student raise their hand, tell me that their keyboard isn't working right, and it's because they accidentally pressed one of those toggle keys. And so the keyboard really isn't working right, and you have to press that key again to fix that for them. So there's really not a purpose in us having those keys in a keyboarding classroom. So we've eliminated them to hopefully solve a few problems for you and have a few less classroom issues with your keyboards.
Okay, so I wanted to address for just a couple of minutes some of the classroom observations we've made over the years being in a keyboarding classroom and then you know, in more advanced classes at the high school level. But I think that we all know that there's just a push for having a keyboarding skill so that students, as they take those upper level classes, more advanced classes, that they're actually able to keep up with the coursework and do a good job with what they're being asked to accomplish. We've definitely come to the conclusion that there is a need for computer keyboards that are designed for classroom use. And like we said earlier, the goal is really to get the students from a very young age to master the touch typing skill and to have a really good keyboarding skill by the time, you know, they are at the point where they're ready to take those more advanced classes. I know for a fact in Utah, there is a huge push for STEM and computer science classes at this point, and that takes keyboarding skill. You've got to be able to type, to be able to code and to program and those kinds of things. And I've witnessed firsthand in my web development and programming classes that the students excel who can type well. If they've got that speed, you know, 60 plus words a minute, they excel at what they do and they accomplish a lot. And it's great fun to see them learn and to grow and to build the programs and the websites and things that they do. On the other hand, if a kid comes into that advanced class with, you know, little or no keyboarding skill at all, it gets frustrating for them very quickly, very frustrating, and they fall behind, and I think kind of lose the passion for what we are doing. And I don't like to have that happen. We want every kid to be successful. So as we're looking here, I think that we all know that just keyboarding does help to promote advanced digital skills. And on this next slide, some of the research, oh, I forgot. How fast can we type? Where did I click too many? This one right here. I just skipped a slide, that's all. So I think we all realize that there is a true need in the workforce, that all careers, a lot of careers are going to require some level of computer proficiency. We've got 77% that from the research that we've done. But some of the things that we've also come across is the idea that having that solid keyboarding skill, typing improves your brain function, and it not only helps to improve your memory skills, it also engages both sides of the brain at the same time. So you have your cognitive stuff going on and your motor skills where you're you know, typing the keys, striking the keys to form your words and sentences, but you're also engaging the creative side of your brain too. And so if you've got that touch typing skill down, that frees up your brain to not be thinking about, okay, where's the A key, where's the F key? It's just automatically happening, and that creative part can come out and you can get it down, on the keyboard a lot faster. And then strengthening your hand-eye coordination. That's just a motor skill that everybody needs, and that's something that happens in the process of all of that. Okay, so the next thing that we'd like to do is just ask you guys in the audience to post in the chat how fast you can type. I think we all know the value of a fast typing speed. And I know that Kelly, my counterpart here, she prides herself in having high 90s consistently, which is kind of awesome. So we'll let you do that.
So while you post your typing speed in the chat, and maybe you can also share why you value your typing speed. If you're anything like me, it is something that I valued my whole life. And I can think back on how many times that has helped me. It helped me as a student. It helps me in my profession. I remember it helped me a lot in college. I was assigned to write a 50-page paper in college, and that was really intimidating to receive that assignment. But I was able to do it. And I can't imagine how much more difficult that would have been for me if I didn't have a strong typing skill. All right, the next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to show you just a 1-minute video that shows you a little bit more about our keyboards so you can understand it a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and play that for you.
KeyMaster Electronics specializes in keyboarding products that promote keyboard mastery. The Learning Lights keyboard is designed by teachers as an easier way to practice memory touch typing. With the touch of a button, the Learning Lights keyboard will virtually black out its keys, allowing the user to practice key memorization without the temptation of looking at one's fingers. Full key visibility may be restored at any time for everyday keyboard use. Certain keys have been eliminated from the keyboard, such as the numlock and insert keys, to avoid keyboarding malfunctions for new typists. These keys have been replaced with more functional keys, such as the full screen and zoom key. All alpha and numeric keys can be turned on or off individually at the user's discretion. This can be a powerful tool to encourage memorization of specific keys. We hope the KeyMaster Learning Lights keyboard helps you to succeed in your journey toward keyboard mastery.
All right, hopefully that gave you a really good feel of our product and its purpose. We just wanted to wrap up just kind of summarizing some of the key features of the keyboard. The design of the Learning Lights keyboard is really intended to help to increase student success and touch type mastery, and to provide teachers with another classroom tool that they can use as they're teaching keyboarding. Again, the keyboard can be used with any type of software. It doesn't matter what software you're using, the keyboard will be compatible with it. It's compatible with Windows and with Mac computers as well. And it's just a more practical method of hiding that the key lettering. All right, as we're wrapping up here, we wanted to invite you to go to this link if you would like to receive more information from us. If you fill out the little form here, we will send you more information about our product. So feel free to do that if you would like more information. We also have some contact information here for us. If you go to our KeyMasterElectronics.com website, we have a lot of information on there about our product. And we're also on social media. You can find us at KeyMaster Board there. Also on our website, we have a blog page that's specifically for teachers. So we've really tried to find resources, create resources for you that would be used in a keyboarding classroom. We know that there's a whole bunch of different information out there on the web, and it can get really overwhelming. So we tried to find the best stuff and post those on our blog for you. And they're all kind of grab and go activities that you could quickly take and use in your classrooms. So make sure you take a look at that. If you'd like to contact Shauna or I, our email addresses are at the bottom. And then we also wanted to mention, it's not on here, so you may need to write it down. Recently, we have created a Facebook group, and it's called Keyboarding Teachers Revolutionizing Education. So in Facebook, just search for that, Keyboarding Teachers Revolutionizing Education, and it should pop up. And we have several hundred keyboarding teachers in there, and that number is growing every day. And it's been a really cool resource for our keyboarding teachers that you can ask a question about your class, and people will jump in and offer comments to you. Teachers will post activities that they thought went well, you know, all of those types of things that you can share resources, and you can receive resources from other teachers, and it's very specific to keyboarding education. So that's been a really great resource. So I'd encourage you to join that group. Okay, final topic here is pricing for our keyboards. If you are interested in having these keyboards in your classroom, we just wanted to give you a little bit of pricing information. We try really hard to make the keyboards as economical as we can be, especially for teachers. And so you'll see that we have price discounts built in here for if you were to purchase a classroom set or a few different classroom sets, anywhere between 15% to 25% discounts on those keyboards. So take a look at that. It's really common when we show teachers our product that they really love the product, and they can see how beneficial that would be to have in their classroom. But then their second thought is, how am I going to pay for this? And they worry about where they're going to find the money. And so we just wanted to talk about that for a second. My advice to you would be, to ask. You're not going to get anything that you don't ask for. And if you find value in the product, or any product for that matter, and your kids are going to benefit in the classroom, and it's going to benefit their education, then go ahead and ask for it. And I know in our district, they, you know, if it's going to help you in their classroom, they want to find a way to get that for you. And there's a lot of different pools of money out there, and sometimes it's just finding that right pool of money to pull from. And so we do have a link on the bottom of the slide there that kind of gives you a few ideas about places that you can look for money. And so we would just encourage you to ask. If you feel like it's something that's going to benefit you, then make sure that you make that known. And is there anything else?
I was also going to add to, you know, you can think about like business partnerships, and a lot of times, I know our district has a foundation that's in place specifically for teachers to write grants to. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be funds that come straight from the school. There might be outside resources that you can pull from as well. So keep that in mind. It doesn't hurt to ask. And we'll kind of leave you with that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you learned a little something about keyboarding education, and we hope you'll use our resources that we have for you there, and that they can help you in your classroom. All right, thank you.